Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, thank you very much for having me. I'm going to speak on a very sensitive subject to me today, and that's about autism. I'm going to speak about how it's affected me in my life. I'm going to talk a little bit about a dictionary definition that everyone has a baseline about what autism is. I'm also going to speak a little bit about some theories, rumors, maybe some misunderstandings about autism, and just maybe clear them up and get everyone on a baseline level. So I want to start with how it's affected me, and I'm going to do my best not to get emotional, but it's my son. Okay.
All right.
He's the fourth. It's a very keenly named, Charles the Fourth. Maybe one day we'll have Charles the Fifth, but right now, the fourth is Charles. So Charles was diagnosed at a very early age with autism. Around 3 months old, and even a little difficult to talk about, but when he was first born, I had a daughter before, Julia, who was a couple years older. I realized when he was born something was weird. Something was wrong with his eyes. He didn't make eye contact. And maybe I'm working towards a conclusion, so I really think I am, but I noticed that immediately, and that was the beginning of something was weird. Something different was going on with my son. I couldn't pinpoint it. As many of you may not know, autism is not diagnosable with a blood test. It's not diagnosable with things like EKG or brain scans, things like that. They're not diagnosable that way. It's a behavior. Well, how do you diagnose behavior? They have to have some behavior first. So when they start having those behavioral traits on 2 or 3 is when they can be diagnosed. So he was diagnosed around 3 with autism. So I'll go a little more into that later on, but I want to talk about a dictionary definition because this is important to me. Dictionary definitions are great, okay, for baseline definitions. A mental condition present from early childhood, characterized by difficulty in communicating, and forming relationships with others. And I want to stop there real quick. Has anyone here ever had a difficulty in communicating with others? Yeah, what about forming relationships? Yeah. So it's a great definition, but it's the extremes of those. Everyone has those issues in their life. If you don't, I'm very proud of you. I have those issues a lot. So it's the second part that's important to me. It's with other people, using language and abstract concepts. Using language is pretty obvious, but abstract concepts is the one that I want to talk about a little bit. What is an abstract concept? Well, I'm not talking down to anyone, but if you don't know what an abstract concept is, it's a concept you visualize. It's really not physically present. I like to use the example number 4. Can you see, taste, touch, hear, smell, number 4? Or do you visualize what number 4 represents? Those are abstract concepts that some autistic people in general have a hard time understanding. Love, not the feeling of love, but what love is. Freedom, things like that. Those are abstract concepts. So, a little bit of information about how autism affects people nowadays. You might have heard about this statistic right here, which is a little staggering. That's 1 in 68 children, 1 in 42 boys. Boys are diagnosed at a higher rate. We think right now, testing, it says it might be testosterone, but one of the things I want to talk about really quickly before I go forward is that research on autism is in the burgeoning phase right now. Really until the early 2000s, even late 90s, they didn't know what autism was. In the beginning, it was thought of an offshoot of schizophrenia. So 1 in 68 children nowadays, and that keeps going up, mostly because they keep encompassing other things in the autism spectrum disorder. So that it's unsure right now, it's unclear whether more people are being autistically born or born with autism, or if we're just covering more things in the autism category. So 90% of adults with autism are unemployed or underemployed, which scares me as a father of one. And 500,000 teens with autism in the next decade will move forward into adulthood with autism. It's, again, concerning to me, nerve-wracking. So these are the important points I want to go over about possible theories of cause and prevention. Possible risk factors, the number 1 by far is genetics. More than any of these other ones in here, genetics plays a role in determining autism. They believe it's between 3 and 20 protein genes or DNA genes, something like that. They're not really sure right now. Again, it's burgeoning. But that's one of the main factors right now is genetics. Now some additional factors, advanced parental age. For either parent, used to be believed it was only the male. Now both parents play a factor in that. Pregnancies or birth complications. What are those? Well, those are definitely complications when you're having your child, but also pregnancy complications. One of the ones my wife had was gestational diabetes. Can we get a raise of hand if anyone has heard that before? Yeah, so if you haven't heard of that, gestational diabetes is a temporary diabetes you can get when you're pregnant. It goes away as soon as you have a kid, but you have to have a strict diabetic diet when you're pregnant. So if you've ever been pregnant, you know when you're pregnant, tell them not to eat chocolate while they're pregnant, they freak out. That's considered a pregnancy complication, even though it's minor. It is a form of determining whether you might have autism or not. And finally, last one, pregnancy spaced less than 1 year apart. Something there about causes and prevention. There's no way to prevent autism right now. I don't know where this, I've heard this plenty of times, eat a gluten-free diet when you're pregnant. All these things are great preventing factors, but again, genetics play the ultimate role in determining whether you're going to have autism or not. It's a roll of the dice. As base as that is, it really is just a roll of the dice right now. And maybe in 10 or 20 years, when we do a little bit more genetic easing, or what we call them premium babies, where you can get your genetics done, maybe we can talk about that then, but there's no way to prevent it just flat out right now. So let's go over some things you can do while you're pregnant to prevent it. Eat healthy, exercise, eat right. Prenatal vitamins are one of the biggest things they talk about, being able to stop it, if that is a cause of it. Avoid drugs and alcohol. Now, I don't mean just illicit or illegal drugs and alcohol. One of the important things is certain seizure medications have been determined to cause or at least increase the risk of autism. And finally, my favorite one. Most of you probably heard about the theory that vaccines are a cause of autism. I'm here to tell you right now, the science is pretty much done with it. They're still researching it, But no, vaccines do not have any correlation with causing autism. It is a correlation that is not equal causation issue. Because children typically have their autism around that age, or their shots around that age, and they're diagnosed around that age, that's the reason why people have that correlation going on. But if you get vaccinated as a mother, before you get pregnant, for the germ measles, rubella, it actually increase your chances of not having autistic children with rubella-associated autism. So get vaccinated to not have autism. That's pretty powerful. So main conclusion, I thought about a conclusion for a while. I don't really have a selling point for this. I really just wanted to get everyone on a baseline of what autism really is. But there's a quote that I really, really like. If you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. They're so unique and different that I don't even know how to describe the differences between my son and the autistic kid down the block. They're completely different kids, and they're diagnosed with the same thing. It's really odd. So that's my conclusion today. I hope you take away a little bit more information about autism. And honestly, it's okay to have theories and worries and things like that. If anyone here does have anyone with autism, I'm open to talk about it. It's one of the things that scared me when I was a parent. I didn't have any resources.